Hello, welcome to Postcards 31, Grab Bag 4. Just got some loose cards here, which I'm just going to have a quick look at. Nothing thrilling, but you know. Here we have a rather interesting collection of teddies, all of them dressed up. This is from these are the Wareham Bears of Wareham, Dorset, and it's a copyright picture taken by Mary Hildesley. If you happen to have drifted here via my Lord Wandsworth writings, pronouncements, it's not the same Hildesley, I'm sure. But there we are. Beautiful colours here, and a smaller postcard. Better quality cardboard than some of the recent efforts. Look at the colours in that. Almost the bridge almost looks like a crocodile, doesn't it? Not really. I mean, if you were standing on it, it wouldn't. But you know what I mean. Just take my glasses off to read. It's Sanderson and Dixon. And that's presumably the name of the printers, and it's from Ambleside, Ash's Bridge, and Derwentwater, Keswick. So there you are. I'm sure I'll never go there, but wow, look at the richness of colour. That's what a lot of rainfall does for you. Not always bad when it's raining, is it? Now here's something completely different, and not from Monty Python. This lady appears to be everything which the modern world wouldn't want. She appears to be inert and sort of looking elderly before her time. In fact, her skin is without blemish. And she's looking sort of wistful and distant. But I don't really know. It doesn't say who she is. It's a studio portrait by Ed Sharp it's from London, taken in London as a studio. And it's made into a card so that people can send it to their relations, obviously, or put it into a collection, as I have done. I should think it's pre-war, so I have no idea who it is. Here we have a little dated 1960s card of the Isle of Mull, where my old college took the combined cadet force. This is a Hale Caledonia product. That means very little to me. Well, it means nothing, actually. The back is a bit uninspired, but there you are. You could sort of send it to someone, couldn't you? This is nice. This is a bit more me. This is J. Arthur Dixon card, and the Commando Memorial at Speen Bridge in Inverness-shire. A striking memorial, it says. And it's now a training ground for commandos. And in the background is Ben Nevis. Well, you try sneering at that. Yes. Here's something in milder colours. A Lake District, the Lake District. Buttermere and Fleetwith, Windermere, Ullswater, and Derwent from Castle Head. So it's 4 distinct places, all of them well captured, I'm sure. And each of these could probably have been in the collection of individual cards as well, and the photographer has grouped them and made for a different design. I always feel a certain guilt if I send a card to somebody, as I always like to do to those whom I know and haven't actually been to the place. Now here we have Rolling Thunder. And this is Loch, you'll have to forgive me, Screeden and the mountains of Glenmore, again on the Isle of Mull. Those clouds look thick as they come, don't they? It looks like an absolute torrent of mashed potato that's about to descend and explode with water. I'm not sure I like this recent acquisition that I got sent from the blind, support the blind veterans. I'd be happy to support the blind veterans in the mine account, but I'm not sure I need to be sent a card or even, this is St Dunstan's, the famous, it's in London, I think, isn't it, home? And here we are, a guy in the First World War with a flippant slogan underneath, blinded for you. It is a painting by R. Catton or Caton Woodville. I don't like it. Sorry. Here's something I adore. This is a very small card, and it is possibly French or Swiss. Either might support this type of flora and fauna. Isn't this a beauty? Good enough to frame. This is an aster, alpinus. I wasn't making a joke there. It was. You can tell how good I am at these French things. In fact, that's the Latin derivation, isn't it? The Latin rendering. Anyway, all of that aside, very rich colours. It's obviously a hardy plant. Here we have something which is more of an exercise in distant photography. It's a J. Arthur Dixon card of the Priory in Gwent, Hondu Valley. There we are. It appears to stand alone, but I suspect as you grew nearer there will be other buildings and stuff. But as to that, I'm guessing. Here's D side. Not T side, but D side. I see here that it's in Scotland, Balmoral Castle. This is Balmoral Castle. Don't know if the royal family are there at the moment, and if they are, whether the standard should be flying. And Cathy Kirk and Braemar and the Old Brig O'D. The Old Brig O'D is the river, I suppose. There we are. I hate to say I don't feel particularly inspired by it, but I'm sure the more I'm promising myself to buy a magnifying glass, and if I do, I think it will be useful to looking at various cards. Here's the same but different. This is somewhere which never quite shakes off the mythological side of the world and the urban myths. It's Loch Ness and the road to Fort Augustus. I don't know what type of fort that might be and what there is there to see, but it would be well worth going, I'm sure. Here's something very twee. At one time, of course, it would be a poor man's residence. It isn't now. This is Thomas Hardy's birthplace in Bockhampton. I think I've been here. I think so, because there was a loo in the garden, in the necessarium. Or even necessarium, I suppose. This is an English card. That's about 50 years old, and I like it. I can't say that I've read very much Hardy, I think I sort of tried to, and it was in the vernacular, and I lost heart. We don't need that. Here we have rather it starts off very well, and then it disappears into cloud and mist. You get a little flint wall and a track and some sea, obviously. And yet I feel somewhat swindled. Swithed, not swindled. Whitehorn of Dundee. Well, that might be actually taken. Oh no. Loch Erriboll, Sutherland, says at the top. I'm none the wiser. I'd have to get out a map. Now, do you know where this is? If you do, it's in Portugal. Las Caldas. Las Caldas, or Caldas. In a way, that doesn't fit in, does it, with what we've been looking at? Here's St Ives. Since St Ives is one of the most beautiful towns. Well, if you're in the right, have the right weather and the right health and the right company, I think most places are very beautiful. Anyway, there's St Ives. It's the consistency of the light, wasn't it, that originally attracted the artists. This could be the Priory again. Little Fryup Dale, one of the smaller dales branching off the south side of the Eskdale. The distant heights are Danby Beacon and Lealholm Moor. And this is the North Yorkshire Moors National Park. It's a national park. Presumably that means it can't be farmed or built on. I dare say they could change their rules if they had to, or they wanted to. It's perfectly charming. It's fairly bland, but look at the different colours of the fields and of the sky and the clouds scudding by. It's an interesting verb, scud. There we are. I suppose there were scud missiles, weren't there? An awful thought. I don't talk about scud missiles, thank you very much. Just quickly passing over some of these, which are not worth seeing. Now, here's an amazing one. This is in Barmouth, and I'm not about to pronounce the names of the places because I can't. This is a salmon card, and this is to a standard, which a lot of the others aren't, but that is really something. Heather, or obviously the very hardy plants, and presumably a loch. It is a loch, I mean, it's no question. It's not the open sea, is it? It's not a river. Here's one of the old designs with the serrated edge. This is Loch Garten in Inverness. Loch Garten. It's flat as a mill pond. Looks to me as either first thing in the morning or last thing at night. So it could have been about 7:30, or alternatively, it could be 7:30. We may never know which. Now, here's something pretty somber. Study to be quiet. This is stained glass. Isaac Walton's Study to be Quiet. Well, I just said that. From Winchester Cathedral. If you're ever in Northern Hampshire, do give it a look. I think it's about £8 or £9 to go in now, but there is an enormous amount to see when you get in there, including this. And last but not least, we come very locally. This is only about a mile from my flat. Do you know this girl? I know that you do. Thank you very much. This has been Postcards 34. I'm James Pratt, and you're not.